they kind of suffer from the same issue on the side of BiG as they do with what you mentioned of Envy, where you can have one player show up in a big way, but it's not going to be enough. And I think that's more actually evident with BiG, especially obviously with Tabs and Nex. They can go off at any given point, but oftentimes you'll see so many scoreboards of Tabs dropping 30 bombs and everybody else just landing around 15 frags or less. And it doesn't really equate to victories versus top-level opponents.
Well, here we go, ladies and gents. Enough chit-chatter from myself and Ven. We are jumping headfirst into this map between EnvyUs and BiG. BiG starting off on the T side. And already, you can see 2 Molotovs have actually been elected for BiG. So that's quite a bit of firepower they have in their back pocket.
Yeah, 2 Molotovs, 2 smokes, actually. And for some reason, 3 decoys as well. Could be used as a fake flash or something to that effect. But with an initial nade buy like this, obviously it does allow them to have a lot of opportunities and actually close out a lot of areas of any given bomb site they want to opt to go towards. You can see the standard A take, really where you only need really 2 smokes and the Molotovs to clear out backside of quad boxes and whatnot. Same thing goes for clearing out checkers room towards B as well. But it seems like they're going to opt to go for some basic mid control without the use of nades as of right now.
Yeah, going for the boost. Can always be a little bit worrisome against the USPs at range. But Scream seems to be caught in 2 minds as to where they're about to push. However, that smoke interconnector is going to give it away a little bit. As some mid control is now being taken. Scream's going to try and tap at range, but he gets gooshed and he's going to be falling down instantly after from Tabson. So mid control has already been taken. And now plenty more options will fall on BiG shoulders as they look to push right through onto B. XMS up in heaven. Going to see if he can maybe get a couple of headshots in the approach, but it's going to be Happy who gets 2 and drops the bomb out as well. Suddenly, this round is shifting back in the favor of the CTs. The bomb has been retrieved and will be put firmly on the B site. But the man advantage still in favor of EnvyUs. And they do have a smoke that's just been tossed towards the B main side. Hit as well for XMS.
RPK in event position can also be a complete nuisance. They do have a rotation here coming out from Tabson, though, but he's going to get found out just as he's starting to get hope. And all the rest of the EnvyUs side storming onto the bomb. Easily dispatches of Legia, so successful pistol round, but it did look a little bit hairy there. Scream goes down without doing significant damage, but Happy coming in with 2 big frags to really halt their entire push. I mean, while you have the initial players from BiG pushing onto the side, Legia is putting down a Molotov on site to clear out anyone playing behind default, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't really build up to anything with Happy finding those 2. And I mean, as you can see, totally calculated as well.
Oh yeah. Meant every single bullet, of course. MP9s and MP alongside FAMAS and M4. It's going to be an AK on Tabson.
Yeah.
He is definitely one of the star players of BiG, so you understand why they've gone for that purchase.
Yeah, similar approach to what we saw Na'Vi do in their game, where they get an AK up in Simple's aim, full armor as well, and they could do a ton of damage as well. And in the long run of things, it doesn't really impact their economy in a negative way either. So cool to see more and more teams pulling this out, especially when you have players of that caliber who can actually win you around single-handedly. Added benefit as well, going up against 2 MP9s here. RPK over towards the truck area. He's gonna have a rough time dealing with a AK of Tabson. Oh, hello?
That's a free kill. They're not gonna pull it back though in the hands of a very capable RPK, but he's gonna be able to get no more for his work. And now Six is gonna line them up with 2 sprays. Wasn't expecting a third player to push the same angle. He was caught in 2 mines, and that's gonna allow Kiev to go for the bomb plant. That nade has absolutely shredded him though. He's down to 12. AK and MP9 up against MP9 and UMP, but the downside is the Kiev only on 12 is now on a 1-on-2, and he's about to get swiped from the side by XMS's MP9. And EnvyUs hold on to the second round, but BiG did get a bomb plant and 3 kills. It's not a bad round for them either.
Yeah, that was without investing Kevlar on, well, most of their players. Obviously Tabson investing a little bit more than the others, Legia as well. But overall, pretty decent round from BiG there. No idea what went through the mind of Happy there, though. No smoke down in A main to get any sort of coverage, and actually jumping over towards red box. It's definitely ballsy, but might be that sugar kick from the Nutella crepes that's kicking in. We'll see. Nonetheless, though, they do get a second round on the board, but this does do damage to their economy, and that's what BiG are. You know, they smell blood in the water right now, and they're going to force up after getting that bomb plant. 4 AKs. Legia, the only one who really isn't able to buy up fully here.
Yeah, and they can definitely sense the weakness for EnvyUs. If they were to lose this, they would be in a very sketchy position, economically speaking. And Six only has a USP because he wants to get the AWP as soon as possible, but If it comes down to 6, though, with just USP against these AKs and the CZ, I mean, that is going to be a massive issue for EnvyUs.
It really is. I'm actually surprised to see that it doesn't actually invest into a ZZ or something like that. He's sitting on 1,500 bucks right now. So there's definitely room for it. And I mean, those 500 bucks, not going to go a long way really towards that AWP. He's not going to be able to afford it in the next round regardless. So a bit weird to see. Nonetheless, they're getting him in a forward position though. So trying to eliminate the disadvantage of not having the range. So they are accounting for it, at least. Actually a pretty aggressive standoff here from EnvyUs initially. They're actually going to go for boost, it seems. Over by the A-bomb site, getting RPK out there. Probably going to use Sixer as a bit of a bait then. And Happy in a very exposed position.
Yeah, I think it's because Sixer has control of A main and they have the boost as well. But now Legia is going to catch Sixer from behind, but actually misses out on the shot. And that's pretty significant. Now Sixer can trade his USP across to the CZ. He's only on 1 health though. God-B in the meanwhile, AK headshot to RPK. One of the main men is down and out. And with Sixer low, this puts so much pressure on Happy's shoulders. He knows he's effectively the last line of defense now on the A side. There is going to be a rotation in the form of Scream, who actually lands the USP into the backside of Tabson and will even the odds at 3 apiece, courtesy of Kiev's frag onto Sixer. Now Happy's getting caught from the side, and it's going to be BiG who take control over the site. It's a really horrible duel between Scream and Nex, and it's going to go the way of the CTs. And now Kiev, again, in another clutch scenario. This time, though, it is a lot better for him. He has a lot more health, he has nades, and he has an AK. And the bomb is planted. Now Scream may try and peek him, but Kiev is too fast on the trigger and will secure his 4K. There are so many odd moments in that round, though.
Definitely was Happy getting caught out, you know, between a rock and a hard place, really, instead of committing to one of the angles. Obviously a bit unfortunate, and the next not that stellar spray. Nice, like, neat little trick from Scream, then to drop down the AG to kind of muffle the sound of a potential diffuse, which forces Kiev to actually commit to checking the angle and seeing what Scream's up to, seeing how the plant wasn't necessarily for them. BiG do pick up that round, and as you mentioned, the economy not in a great state for the Frenchmen right now. ZZ's galore. Still though, Cache is a map that does allow you to get pretty up close and personal if you want to do so, and you can see they've kind of taken that approach as well for the better part. Nobody actually looking over towards that middle area at all. That's obviously because of the range. Well, BiG aware of this, going to take full advantage to get some easy mid control. BiG are one of the teams that are very good at actually executing once they get sufficient map control. Ooh, Sixer with a very aggressive push. Would have imagined, yeah, like Legia was definitely aware of the fact that that was supposed to be a bait for someone. Scream comes in late. Still gets the job done, though.
Good old drive by Juan D. It's going to be UMP that trades hands. The Tabson elsewhere is going to make inroads on the B side. Just down to Happy in the corner. Going to get spotted and fragged. And that will be BiG trying to get their plant on here. Scream's going to get dispatched off by Tabson. A 3K for him. And the round surely to follow. So BiG bouncing back with authority. EnvyUs didn't have much into this round.
Really didn't. Still only Sixer really who's saved up any sort of bank here at this point. He obviously wants to get that off in his hands as quickly as possible. Well, we'll see. Being able to hold on to his ZZ, UMP, well, 2 ZZs and a UMP can actually still amount to a little bit of action for EnvyUs in the upcoming round, but we won't see them actually investing into it. RPK is actually just going to donate his ZZ away in hopes of getting an exit frag. And we have it. BiG taking care of their anti-eco rounds sufficiently, doing so. And again, it's a very basic approach, taking mid control and just pretty much playing the range and allowing yourself to have the best opportunity to have multiple options to go from. And if you find a pickoff on your way, just makes your job a whole lot easier. And we see why Tabson is regarded as a pretty lethal player. Aim on point.
Bam. Not much you can do against that. And Tabson's feeling it. EnvyUs now into an eco, as we said. Didn't really have a great deal in terms of funds, and they want to save up for the next one. They're going to be stacking together in mid, although 2 players have branched off from the rest of the team. We're going to go for a boost.
It's a very heavy committal from BiG, actually. They probably should be expecting another eco coming out from EnvyUs. I'm surprised they don't actually spit out a little bit to see if they can get some map control, but A seems to be the point of play.
Tabson does get flashed out, but the rest of his team's going to be following suit. RPK goes in for 1. But that probably is all she wrote for this round. XMS was trying to sneak his way around the side, but Legia knew exactly what was coming up. Next, shifts across. I'm not sure if he panicked the shot or what happened there, but it's going to cost him his life. And now EnvyUs are in a position where maybe they could strike. The CZ isn't great, but up close it's going to be quite the terror. And Sixer with a UMP could do so much work if he can get in the right position. He's going to drop down behind God B, and now it's all on Lagia. He's already got 2 in this round. Can he go 2 better? No, he can't. And EnvyUs are actually going to pick this round up.
That should never happen. Never, ever, ever happen. I mean, even though BiG run into an A site without any sort of information as to what's going on at all, they do go through, you know, your usual checklist, Molotoving off corners and whatnot, using the proper smokes and everything. But it's like you said, some unfortunate moments. Obviously, up there by Forklift as next, yeah, just kind of straves off the pretty much one point where anyone from the CT side could get in. A bit awkward, but sometimes that happens. Don't necessarily think it was like any sort of like misplay from Nexus side outside of just being unfortunate with his timing. Still though, racked up a decent economy, and tabseN's already getting to work with that AK. He's happy out of play.
What a terrible start for EnvyUs though. They finally dragged back the round, starting to get some momentum back, and then in the first sort of 10-15 seconds, Happy's dead.
Yeah, that's an off down as well, so heavy commitment. RPK though, there to solve things. She's going to pick up an op as well. That's not something you see every day. He's going to bounce in, do a little bit of damage to Nex. And so far, it's just a war of attrition here in mid. But EnvyUs at least denying BiG any sort of mid control here. But they are very spread out, and XMS's position's obviously not in a place where he can actually hold BiG off from actually grabbing this B-bomb site. So it's going to be the retake game coming in from EnvyUs. They don't necessarily have too many nades. They have 2 Molotovs, which is getting from in BiG, but...
Oh no, that smoke whiffed.
Oh.
That smoke whiffed, and it nearly cost them so much. XMS should be doing better from that position.
Definitely should be. I mean, smoke whiffs, but XMS whiffs harder, and it seems like actually EnvyUs are perfectly fine with saving this. Again, having an op for a retake now like that is not the easiest thing, especially towards that B-bomb site, the harder site to retake of the 2. Well, they're just going to hold on to them and go into that double op setup. And I've never really been a fan of EnvyUs' adamancy to actually just continuously go towards that double op setup. I think it's a massive investment, and I don't think they necessarily have 2 ops that are good enough to justify it most of the time. But they seem to have a very set idea as to how they want to play.
So just to backtrack a little bit, the reason why we're saying XMS whiffed hard there is because the smoke the BiG threw in was from the sunroom. You can throw it through the top window. It bounces off just past headshot and goes into CT next to the tree.
Yep.
But it landed too far left, so it effectively just went into headshot instead. And so XMS's position that should have just been completely cordoned off, he could then see 2 terrorists pushing him. So
yep.
if his spray's on point there, that could have been a double frag for XMS. That could have been the round going to EnvyUs.
Even if he just picks up 1 frag, that probably allows him to just get back into hiding for the rest of the rotation to come in from EnvyUs as well. So at that point, you've kind of done your part. You know there's no real legitimate shot of you actually holding off the entire BiG execute towards the B-bomb site. So you do whatever damage you can and then wait for your teammates to have a coordinated retake. But not going to be the case for them.
So deep in thought now. The tactical timeout is about to come and go.
Malik talking words of wisdom to his teammates. With those 3 saved rifles from the previous round, we're going to see a new investment from the EnvyUs side. No head Kevlar for most of the players, but that doesn't really make too much of an impact considering they're going up against AKs. Sixer with the aggressive position here. And I like to see that, not having timid CT sides, because obviously that's something that a lot of teams, if they get off to a rocky start, a lot of back and forth shifts in terms of leads, a lot of CT sides become too afraid really to actually show any presence on the map, and obviously that makes the job for T side a whole lot easier. And Sixer's really taking it to the next level here, pushing all the way forward, and he's going to be able to find Nex. That's a big pick off.
I like that so much though, because it now takes pressure away from A main, allowing RPK to go for the peak, because 2 players were drawn out to face off against Sixer. So it's kind of that game of chess, of forcing your opponent into positions they don't want to be in. And Sixer, just pure timing onto God B, counting down in his head. Ooh. And then spins around to land the shot on Keeve. I have a feeling, we didn't see that from his perspective, I have a feeling that was a ridiculous shot.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised. That was pretty rapid. Sixer getting off to a really good start so far. 9 and 2, definitely doing his part. Here we see the aggression that sets it all off. Honestly, the nicely timed shot through the smoke.
Here it is.
I think everybody has like a rule of thumb on that. Oh, yeah, that's fast.
Oh, even in slow motion, that looks rapid.
Yeah. Very well done by Sixer. And obviously, Sixer is one of the players on this EnvyUs side that is often criticized for not being able to step up in games that matter and actually have an impact with this op. And obviously, that's a big worry for teams if you have somebody who so heavily invest into, you know, it's the most expensive viable weapon that you purchase in this game. So if you're not able to actually do anything with it, it's not that beneficial for your side. So far, Sixer coming up in a big way, and that was a massive round from him.
They were in a position here, BiG, to go for a buy. It would have put 2 players down into fairly rough pistols, but they could have gone for it, knowing that EnvyUs don't have a great economy themselves, but maybe playing for the longer game instead. I mean, the last 4 rounds have gone back and forth, and typically that will hurt the CT's economy.
No, it definitely does. Well, one of the upsides, I guess, in this kind of a war of attrition is the fact that in the previous round, BiG didn't get a bomb plant down. I think if they would have been able to do so, we would have seen not necessarily a fully bought up BiG side, but at least more of an investment. Sixer going to continue his good form. RPK as well.
Man, Sixer is feeling it right now. Doesn't seem to be able to miss at this point. He's landed that shot through the box and won't be getting a second. But the rest is a clean-up cruise in effect that can pick up that AWP and keep 2 in play.
Ooh,
hold on.
Wow.
What happened there?
Good effort from Happy. I tried to drop his AWP closer to RPK.
Right. But yeah.
Didn't quite pan out, but with winning 2 rounds in a row, they will have the economy to actually buy up another one. And with the way Sixer's playing right now, can't really argue with the investment.
He's 11-3. That just goes to show how well he's playing right now.
Well, this is more like Sixer from 8 years ago than what we've seen in the last 2-3. Keep with AWP in his hands on the side of BiG. And this time around, more of a default spread from the German side. Wouldn't be surprised if we see them going back to some basic math control here. Gonna smoke off the B entrance. Doesn't really affect Happy though, because he's playing an aggressive position here. Could actually catch someone out. But BiG seem to be fans of taking mid control here, and their slower paced rounds might be what they go back into. Actually, Kevin Gabi really committing in towards this checkers room, and the boost here might actually
Just be so cheeky.
Tabson though is able to punish in mid here on top of the boost. That's Sixer down, one of the heavy hitters for EnvyUs so far.
And credit to Happy, he didn't overstay his welcome. He did smoke and flash himself back to the site. As Sixer is down, it's going to leave vulnerable spots across the map now for EnvyUs.
I like the approach from EnvyUs though. Right now they're setting up for an A retake. You see RPK just with the very passive position over towards that car area. The predominant forces of EnvyUs towards B here, and that seems to be the right guess.
XMS using the smoke to his will. He's going to get 2 kills, looking for a 3rd as well, but will get taken down through the smoke of Kiev. Important duel coming up right now. God B's going to get the better of it. Spins around but can't land the frag, but Kiev will. Trying to show whatever Sixer can do, he can do just as well. But does he have one more frag in his back pocket? That's what he needs if he wants to clutch this round. Going to bait out Happy, but Happy's having none of it. The time was incredibly low as well.
Actually surprised to see Kiev going for that approach as well, because he doesn't actually give himself time to have his weapon up when he jumps on top of the box after trying to fake the plan. So he's basically shooting duck as he jumps up. I mean, so initial defense very, very strong from XMS and Happy, finding those 3 frags before BiG get anywhere near the bomb site. That puts the Germans back on an eco. So finally some stabilization for EnvyUs here, managing to string a couple of rounds in a row. And just one simple smoke out. They do have a couple of more nades here, so they might want to just attempt to get a bomb plant in, but surprisingly enough, bomb's stuck here over towards mid, getting boosted up, so we might see a bit of an A fake and a dive in towards the vent and hoping for a bit of an open B bomb site. I'm not really sure what the end game goal here is for BiG otherwise.
Too many targets for Sixer to zero in on. And as a result, he has been forced out of position. The HE landed right next to his legs. And now highway control is being taken. They're going to get the headshot onto Scream. This is putting a lot of pressure on RPK. But he has big, broad shoulders in which to burden the weight. And he's picked up 3, looking for more. There's a 4th. He's on for the ace. He's not going to get it, but his damage surely will get EnvyUs this round. God B. And a 1-on-3 now. They're going to be up close. And there's the 2nd frag for him. Could all of RPK's brilliance be undone? by the IGL of BiG. He's doing so much work already. He's taking players down, nearly lands another frag. Sixer, who is very low on HP, is just trying to hold off for the push. They know they have the bomb control, and there we go. Patience is a virtue. But RPK there needs to take a bow.
Yeah, RPK definitely showing why we've been talking so much about him and his recent form. More or less salvaging. First off, denying a bomb plant, which is massive, in a round like that. Don't want to let BiG get any more money than they're necessarily sitting at already with the loss bonus, but I'm not a big fan of how Envy approached that retake because, well, it didn't have to be a retake. Bomb was down, Gob was trapped in a corner, and still you see them giving him multiple opportunities to actually take out all 3 players. Still a different approach from EnvyUs here, aggressing into mid with 3 players. Would expect Happy to rotate off here at any given moment with the 2 forward players, and he's going to do that right now. Hold off door. It's a bit of a wonky setup though. 2 offs defending that A bomb site. It could get really hairy if BiG get close up.
I was about to say, if smokes start to land in standard positions, they could just choke out.
Well, not just smokes landing, shots as well. tabseN again finds Sixer. And Scream. Flank not going to work out, and well, Envy just getting picked apart here.
This time the Germans will pull the trigger and be successful. And Kiev just hops down to find Happy in the backside. 4 rounds now to BiG. Seems like it's been forever since their last round.
It has been a while. 4 rounds in a row for the Frenchmen. That's why we're seeing that stabilized economy to a bigger extent, but obviously losing as many players as they did in that previous eco round from BiG does put a dent into their economy. Still going to see them buy into this. Happy at least investing into a Colt. Actually going to spend most of their money out, except for Sixer once more wants to get that off. Curious to see why we didn't see like a full committal from the EnvyUs side if Happy is deciding to go for the M4 buy, but no, that is what the Frenchmen do. They do keep you guessing. As of right now, giving up pretty much both bomb sites, focusing heavily on mid control. And to be fair, BiG has shown a tendency to get mid control versus ecos like this.
Yeah, trying to be a step ahead of BiG, but this time BiG just going to go for the all-out A push, keeping Godby in mid. And now if he dies, that's going to be an AK that trades hands. Now it can come up highway in the next few moments. It's really about how long Sixer can delay, and Scream alongside Happy are just putting BiG down in their place. They came through in the round with 1 M4. They only lost 1 player. They only lost Scream. BiG, what the hell just happened?
Same mistake as it did last time, actually. Going up against an eco round, going blindly in towards the A bomb site. And they're not really doing it extremely efficient either. I mean, they're taking so much time that it allows for EnvyUs to have a rotation. They had 2 players committed to middle there on the side of EnvyUs. Obviously, Godby goes down, but at that point, that has to be, you know, the fire under your feet for BiG and actually commit onto that bomb site much, much quicker instead of allowing EnvyUs to actually rotate in. It's these kind of rounds that you can't afford to lose. Already, this is looking like a really promising CT side from EnvyUs. We're getting some aggressive shenanigans from the Envy side once more. RPK doesn't spot anything in.
They realize that A main is clear. What they don't realize is that Squeaky is being pushed by multiple players with the bomb.
Yeah, Leggy is setting up for a smoke as well. He's going to set up for a connector smoke, actually. So might want to draw some attention from EnvyUs over towards mid.
And here come those aforementioned nades. Going to try and draw out a couple of these players on A to just look down mid and hoping the timing is right. Now trying to bait off Sixer, who's going to land 2 frags, whips up the side on, picks up a 3rd and a 4th. Too easy for Sixer, who is finding some different level of form to what we've seen recently.
He's definitely feeling it right now. Had a couple of rough rounds in a row where tabseN got the better of him, but Godby with a bit of a failed shoulder peek there. And as they come out like lemmings from the door, Sixer handles it easily. 9th round on the board for EnvyUs. Pretty solid job so far. Doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon as well. Limited utility on BiG side as well. And I've been surprised by how little pressure they've tried to put over towards that B bomb side. For the better part of the game, it's been focused heavily on mid control or straight 8 executes. It seems like EnvyUs is starting to come to grips with this.
Sixer has been flashed out. Is able to strike again. Scream going to prove to be the backup he so readily needs. Sixer's gone down to the hands of Next, but he is the last remaining terrorist. We saw God B try his best from this similar position. 2 players down, 3 more to go.
This time, more conservative approach from me, not hunting after the kill immediately. RPK almost posted up by Truck there, so safely executed from EnvyUs, and once more, this A take from BiG does not seem to work out. They don't seem to find the opening frags or the holes that they had in the first couple of rounds. So they have to dig deeper into their tactic book and see if they can come up with something new. And I think the key point would be putting more pressure towards XMS over on that B bomb site, because EnvyUs are able to overload A so often, or at least deny any sort of quick execute onto the A bomb site to the point where they have the rotations and the manpower in to deal with it.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Halvor, but I'm pretty sure we've only seen 1 round for BiG on the A site. Oh, sorry, on B site, pardon me. It's been once or twice at most.
I think we've, if you account for the pistol round, I think we've seen it twice. Right. And that's about it. And honestly, I don't think you can account for that pistol round as necessarily a failed move from BiG, because obviously Happy picks up 2 frags through smoke, and that's something that happens, but you can't, you know, sit back and think, oh, our B takes aren't working because of that. But maybe, you know, we saw them fluff a smoke on their one, you know, buy round where they went towards B, and maybe they're not feeling too confident about all of their nades sitting the way they're supposed to. And again, we're seeing pressure put on by Legia towards A here. Aggressive stance once more from the EnvyUs side. They do spot out Legia as well, but not a whole lot happening on the side of the Germans. And they don't really have too much to work with either. I would be really surprised to see if they actually want to go for mid here. It seems like they're setting up for the crisscross smokes.
Yeah, but actually RPK is going to push it. And I don't think they're going to expect this. You could see that Next had his knife or a nade out or something like that, and now RPK is going to strike for seconds. Seems to think someone was getting boosted on red container. It's going to cost him his life, but again, it's a 3-on-3. You expect EnvyUs to come out ahead, especially as Scream's just gone on and picked off Legia. That means it's one-dimensional. It's going to be through A main. They have an open and an M4 to play with, and which Keith has just put to good use. And there's the flick from tabseN. This is now doable. XMS, who's seen such little action because they've constantly gone to A, is going to get smashed through the wall of tabseN. So BiG have brought it back. One of the most unlikely of rounds they actually end up winning.
Yeah, and again, initially that's EnvyUs playing a bit too overconfident there. There's no real reason for. First off, the flash from Scream isn't necessarily that great. He hasn't had any like massive sound cues to know that anyone's near enough to actually be affected by that flash. So going for the aggressive peek in that kind of a situation is a bit unnecessary when there's such a big rotation time in place for EnvyUs to actually trade that frag if he goes down. It's a bit of a misplay on their end. Still, though, they're going to end up with double figures on the CT side, and that's not something you see very often on a map like Cash. Well, yeah, Gob in deep thought right now, and he has to come up with something special going into the CT side if they want to make a comeback out of this.
Oh, yeah, second pistol is definitely the first hurdle, which they need to navigate over. I do wonder as well, though, a lot of Sixers frags have came off the back, and unless you count the round where he pushed through Squeaky and got the couple of kills, but a lot of them have been fairly static frags where he's just been landing every shot he's gone for. When the roles are reversed and he has to play aggressive with the AWP, he may drop off a little bit. That could be one salvaging grace that BiG have up their sleeve.
Yeah, and I mean, a fair few of them were eco or versus pistols as well, which you can take into account as well. But it's definitely harder to play the T side because you have to be so much more active in how you play, and that's not for everyone. Let's see, smoke's coming out. So the A approach coming in from EnvyUs, going to trade immediately. RPK just keeps running people down on the A bomb side. Keeps still alive over by Truck here. Might be able to find a frag or two.
Who else would it be, though, Ven, than RPK? He's one of the last 3 players now that EnvyUs have. It's a 3-on-3. No kits in the hands of BiG, but I'm pretty sure one was dropped somewhere near the site. RPK goes in for another one. He's looking for a 4th. He's not going to get it. Legia comes out ahead. And now Happy. What can he get done from this position? Nothing is the answer. BiG have done it. We said how important this pistol would be. They've been successful.
They have. Legia stepping up big with a 3K there in the pistol, equaling RPK's effort. Weirdly enough, probably the easiest frag that RPK had there. As Legia swings around the quad box corner, not able to land the shots. Solidly done by Legia there. And Happy was so far away, actually. Initially, he didn't commit with the full flank. Actually decided to rotate back over towards A main. But doesn't really have any impact. And it doesn't seem like it was well thought through. Maybe some miscommunication as to where the bomb was planted at that point, because obviously Happy with his current position, not able to actually do anything with a big player trying to defuse that bomb. And well, a lot of utility actually on the side of EnvyUs. They've forced up in true fashion. See if they're going to be able to actually rush the side. Next is a kind of isolated actually here. With the smoke's down, it's going to be hard for him to get any sort of help.
Especially as tabseN got flashed out and then picked off by Sixer. Legia and Nex have both chimed in for kills, but they're going to need a lot more where that came from. Bomb would get planted second consecutive time on the A site by EnvyUs. But the tank is dead, and Sixer, it's their two top fraggers, their two players in form on this map are gone by the wayside. Another flashbang is going to try and fend off a couple more of these plays, but now Scream is opening up from the forklift truck. He's running out of bullets. He's only got one more left, and it's not going to be good enough. And it's Happy now on 37 health. The back of Quad has so much work ahead of him, and his spray's going to whiff. And the round is going to be going the way of BiG. It's actually going to be very close on this defuse, but I think they've got it.
Yeah, they've got it. But still, economic damage is being done in a big way. So EnvyUs have to be okay with how that panned out. They got the bomb plan as well, which kind of negates the fact that they force bot into this. And in a similar fashion to what we saw in the previous round, probably going to see an investment from them in this one with how much damage they did to BiG. I'd be very surprised actually if we didn't see it, but well, RPK just opting for a deagle. So actually, yeah, no Galils or anything like that bought up from EnvyUs, so we're seeing a bit more restraint from them than we're used to. Does show promise in my eyes at least. And Happy's gonna tank an 8.
Enjoy.
Early Christmas bonus right there.
88 damage in the blink of an eye.
Let's see if they're going to be able to find any sort of 1Ds here. Legia not actually indulging Scream with a peek there from Vents. Pretty static setup from the side of BiG. But again, they're leaving their defender towards A, which in this scenario is Nex. Quite alone.
Pretty smooth sailing so far on the side of BiG.
Legia's going to find XMS as he gets boosted up. So, next man in line. Doesn't really seem like EnvyUs had a plan for this round at all. It's more like a throwaway. Buy the Eagles, see if you can find a 1D somewhere. Get lucky. Instead, they're just going to pick apart and Kiev with the aggressive move here into Garage. Just going to find a lot of EnvyUs players potentially here in A main if he moves forward. Or actually, they move into him.
He's all right with that. Claw will come through. Just going to try and hold off for as long as possible. That flashbang destroying the eyeballs of EnvyUs. And he will finish off the rest, tapping his way to victory alongside Nex. BiG retain all 5 players. Be curious to see if either of those MP9s get traded out, and the answer is yes. Kiev wants the orb.
Not surprising. Legia is going to hold on to that MP9. See if he plays the same position around Vents or close up mid. At least trying to make the most benefit out of his weapon. And as you can see, pretty top heavy, honestly, on both sides. Next, not having the kind of game you would expect out of one of the heavy hitters on BiG side. Luckily, though, Kiev, who the desk, you know, rightfully so mentioned, hasn't really had the same kind of impact or haven't shown the firepower to be that second, third star really on a consistent basis yet. He's really delivering so far. Early trades, Scream and Legia trade places. Say that's a bigger loss, obviously, for EnvyUs in terms of firepower. Legia only having that MP9, but going down a man is never easy on the CP side.
And I would say in terms of skill level as well, most people consider Scream to be a better tier player than Legia is.
Yep, that's fair.
Next is going to be trying to hold off on Forklift for as long as possible. Our PK finds the headshot onto God B, and Sixers came in with a kill of his own. EnvyUs trying to break the drought on this half. It's been 3 unanswered rounds, and now they're on the brink of taking their first on the terrorist side. tabseN has a couple of things to say about that alongside Kiev, and now it's all on RPK. If there's one player you'd want in this position right now, it's him. Can the tank prove impervious to these bullets? There's going to be some Molotovs thrown in as well for good measure. And it's not going to happen for RPK. BiG, 4 rounds in a row.
you go. Just the start they needed off to the second half, but it seems like EnvyUs have a pretty good idea as to how big are planning out these CT sides and how their setups are dealt with. A lot of the times we see Next being more or less isolated on that A bomb site, and that's definitely something the Frenchies can abuse to no end. Well, if it doesn't work out, obviously we can see a similar error from their T side as we saw with BiG, where they pretty much forget about the entire B bomb site as a whole. That would allow BiG to kind of preemptively set up for defenses towards A, even though Next is playing quite, you know, the lone islander really on the site so far. So we see that heavy, utility heavy investment on the side of EnvyUs.
Yeah, full round loss coming up here, then they can afford a half buy and then get a really good buy in the next round.
Can.
2-0.
A lot of people in towards A main for the time being, since they're rotating off. Bomb was primarily posted up towards mid, so no real commitment coming up from the EnvyUs side. And we might actually see this B pressure that we talked about coming out here. Ooh, are they going to go Kiev?
Just twitching at the end, I think.
Yeah.
Twitched away from the frag. May assume that the big players moving more across towards Sunroom, but that was a gimme kill for sure. Now he's going to get mollied out. He knows the push is on. An XMS will shoot him in the side of the head. That's an AWP that's traded hands, but more importantly for EnvyUs, it's the site that's ripe for the taking. And Happy's gone onto Lake Erie as well with the CZ. It's gone from bad to worse.
Just immediately sent BiG into saving mode. At flank working out nicely for the French in-game leader. And, well, there we see isolated takes, or isolated bomb defenders really on the side of BiG. Being tough to deal with, especially with an AWP in that kind of a situation. Kiev has the right idea, obviously. He knows the Molotov, the standard Molotovs for default just coming in, puts down a smoke, but solid flashes from EnvyUs to allow them to push forward and overman him. That's something EnvyUs, like, for all their faults, EnvyUs are really, really good at setting each other up for flashes. Probably one of the teams where you can notice it more easily than anyone else. So yeah. The investment that was, again, as you said, a bit of a throwaway because they would have been able to invest into the next round regardless. Works out perfectly for the Frenchmen. Now they get a bit of a freebie here, holding on to a couple of weapons as well. XMS with that off. It's enough to invest. Can drop it off to Sixer or Happy. Gonna be Sixer in this case. No, actually, no, Happy. Happy snags that up after buying up an AK. So, okay, there you go. And then, but you mentioned it as well. Sixer isn't necessarily the most mobile offer. Happy also with the aggressive spawn, too. Might be more of his comfort zone than it is Sixer's. So, look, gonna get taken out, actually. Sixer does get the trade, but not before Liggy has found 2 frags early on.
He's gonna get a second as well. He loses 70 of his health, but 2 kills will be worthwhile. Next, now gonna play aggressively round the side. He decides the best defense is the strong offense in this occasion.
Got spotted out, though, before he actually gets to jump on anyone, and that's going to be his life to pay for. Now, man advantage for EnvyUs. The problem is they've lost any sort of semblance of map control. Kiev, again, with the aggressive move. So much action from the big side here. It's going to equalize the main numbers. But still, EnvyUs have no idea where the other big player can be at this point. And with how much aggression there's been out, they can probably expect him to be, you know, in any sort of awkward position at this point. But Gob, not aware of the fact that Sixer has snuck by here. There's going to be a free A bomb site, actually, and a plant's going to go down. So Sixer's going to be able to get into a forward position here as well. This could spell trouble for the German side.
Sixer's peering down, gets the frag onto Kiev. That could be all she wrote. Godby's been mollied out as well. Does have a HE, but if he catches Sixer correctly, will wipe him out of this predicament that Godby's currently in.
I do like the choice from Sixer to fall back, though. Oh, RPQ goes down.
Uh-oh. This is actually doable now. Sixer's going to lay and wait. Pulls out the CZ, knows where the bomb's planted. And there'll be no smoke diffuse shenanigans for Godby today. Nice try, though.
Sixer with yet another 4K in this round. That's his 3rd of the game. Just really showing up here. And this, you know, this time doing it not primarily with his op, finding those 2 frags after Happy doesn't quite find what he wants with the aggressive peek. As you saw, picking off the rotation. Really like the decision to fall back after picking up Kiev as well. Playing again as a duo more than just having 2 sole defenders at that retake. So EnvyUs with the 12th round on the board, and this is starting to wear down on the economy of BiG as well. You can see Bit of a funky tower behind quad boxes here. Molotov could be a severe issue if tabseN doesn't land his initial frag.
There it is. You called them all, there's two of them. They're going to just go and make a leaning tower of BiG elsewhere on the red container now. tabseN's missed his chance. And GO EnvyUs loses his head. Next, the only line of defense that really fired back, but Kiev now has managed to snake his way through the smoke, but it just delayed the inevitable. EnvyUs now just 3 rounds shy of winning this best of 1.
EnvyUs going with the same approach as we saw BiG do on their T side, blindly going into that A bomb side, and they do run into a bit of a stack as well. I think they're fortunate by the timing really of tabseN's nade throwing out there. If he has the opportunity to get, you know, a shot off and actually kill Scream as he throws that Molotov into quad, that could very easily go awry for EnvyUs, just like we saw how it did with BiG multiple times. You just need that one little bit of a pushback really from the CTs to stagger your pushes into that A bomb side that just changes the entire course of the game.
Aggressive play from BiG. Kiev is just waiting outside. Here on the side of the wall, wouldn't be expected. Gets flash from his teammate, but that's more to escape than play aggressively. So he's able to dart back onto the site now. XMS has taken damage. Now it's up to tabseN to have a quick peek. He's got a player on lockers as well. Decent crossfire is being established, and Sixer, to his credit, hasn't completely committed to pushing in A main. Had he have done that, he would have been caught from the side of lockers. So incredibly close on both sides for picking up the opening frag. Somehow, though, all 10 players remain alive.
Yeah, only really XMS taking any significant damage. RPK going to be on a bit of exploratory mission towards the B bomb site. He's actually got some teammates to join him as well. So this is going to be the sudden push in towards B, and I don't think they've been spotted at all.
It's more the footsteps that gave our PK away in that case. And now the smoke that got B tossed out is going to be used to hide behind. Does yield him a frag, but he's about to get sprayed from Scream. But there's tabseN bodyguarding the rest of his teammates with a huge 2 kills from Heaven. 13-10. EnvyUs going to have to fight a little bit harder if they want this.
Yeah, solid idea from EnvyUs though, but a good crossfire setup on the side of BiG, actually able to save each other's lives there. Gob coming in big to take out the initial aggression coming out from EnvyUs, and as you said, tabseN swinging in on towards higher, finding 2 frags, just kills the entire round for Envy. Still like the approach though, able to again keep BiG honest, and this is not something we saw BiG do enough on their T side really. Boost coming up on the A side for next. Very passive positions actually being held so far on EnvyUs side. Actually see Sixer all the way in T-spawn, holding over towards B, expecting Kiev maybe to go aggressive, but instead it's going to be tabseN once again to open things up. XMS on a bit of a strange mission, trying to sneak out the smoke. Did make it past Next, but obviously tabseN was there to hold off, and I think that's more a play of them knowing that Next has been fairly isolated on that A bomb site multiple times. If XMS is able to actually get onto the bomb site, that's pretty much round over.
It's an interesting play, almost going like full Rambo, but without any survival skills. Just instantly massacred.
And Scream again.
Oh, he's in a good position here. Once that smoke clears, he could be a dead man. There's the first one. He has no idea there's a player up on the boost. Because I believe XMS died to the player behind the red container, not from the boost itself. So that's kind of wrecked EnvyUs. They did not expect that.
Yeah, they should know that there are 2 players around this though, because tabseN picked up the first frag from the A side as well. Seems like RPK has an idea as well. Ooh, and the bomb here. Sixer moving out A main. Ooh, doesn't spot towards truck. And ooh, actually gonna find the frag onto Next as well. Can hold off any sort of rotations, not allow the Germans to get close to the bomb site. As Happy, in his usual fashion, makes his way in the back.
12 health for God B, with no nades to play with. Up against Sixer with the AWP, and he's going to go out peeking. Sixer's missed his shot, but God B is not able to capitalize. He's going to use his sidearm. He knows that Sixer's low. He can sense that weakness, but Sixer's just chilling in the smoke for the time being, playing this one as passively as possible. God B also, because he's so low, he doesn't want to give his position away, otherwise he probably tries spraying through the smoke, but he's just out-time Sixer and gets the clutch. Gonna have the AWP as well, and the IGL pulls off the 2v1.
He does. Like Sixer's been doing such a good job of playing smart up to this point. Not really sure why he would commit to such a wide peak. It seems like he's thinking it over as well in the booth there. That was yeah, not something I would have expected with given the way he's been playing so far up to this point. Obviously, when it comes down to 1v1 here with the smoke, it's a bit of a chance game, but definitely felt like Sixer had the upper hand going into that. That does mean 13-11 is the score, so BiG mounting a bit of a comeback here. Starting to get things going their way, and EnvyUs' economy is not in the greatest of places. They're going to have to go on a bit of an eco as BiG decide to talk things over.
Oh yeah, and you better believe at the same time as rummaging together some straps, it's also allowing EnvyUs to just stew in what happened.
Oh yeah.
Like, you will think about that very close 1v1 that could have had you on the brink of winning.
Definitely.
Trying to get in the heads of the likes of Sixer.
Yeah. Again, it's a different approach from EnvyUs in terms of how they want to attack the bomb site. I think it's okay when you have a bit of a lead as well to see if you can get away with kind of fluke rounds in that sense. Sending XMS out solo towards the A-bomb site, then sending Scream as the secondary guy, 20 seconds later, just to see if you can throw a bit of a wrench into the defenses of BiG. And now they're probably going to go back to something more tried and true once they get weapons in their hands. For now, though, no utility on the side of EnvyUs, just CZs and Deagles and P250s. They're going to go for a classic French strat, the contact play into A.
Well, next would have been feeling the pace a little bit for a second as he threw out his flash just as they decided to rush. But fortunately for him, it was just pistols, as you say, and he's still in good position. No one actually looked at him. They're all focused towards the likes of MBK, back of quad. So they get away with it. But I bet for a split second, he was like, oh God, what have I done?
It's happening again.
Yeah.
No, we've seen a couple of those scenarios here for BiG in this game. So tabseN when they were setting up for that boost back at quad as well. Timing hasn't really necessarily been their friend up to this point. Well, off we go again. Another buy round for EnvyUs. No op on the side, though, for the T's this time around. Scream gonna immediately find tabseN trying to go aggressive. Seems like BiG wanted to set up for that boost. And like, yeah, ooh. Showing us some cojones here. Gonna push aggressively into garage, but it seems like RPK's sixth sense is just working excellently as he finds that frag as well. So within the span of 20 seconds, two-man advantage. Now, all they have to do is really sit around. I mean, if you're RPK, you can also do that.
Horrendous start for BiG. Losing tabseN that early in such a free fashion and Legia pushing into his death. I mean, that's pretty much the death warrant being signed. Maybe God B can resurrect this weakened, lumbering BiG. No, he can't. RPK once again. And now Keeve with his AWP. He's about to pull a rabbit out the hat. I don't think he's even interested in any magic tricks for the time being.
The money situation for BiG is not quite there. And that's because of the 1v1 situation we saw earlier. EnvyUs being able to drag BiG down into, or basically lose 4 members, kind of negates the fact that they survived the last round with 4. Because the reinvestment on the CT side is so expensive. Massive opportunity for Envy here to actually get to map point, because this is going to put them on 14. Keeve does find one frag onto RPK, but is going to get immediately traded by Happy. That's a trade you'll take any day if you're EnvyUs.
Oh yeah, a 1-for-1, taking the AWP off the table, putting the CTs into a really nasty position. And these are just the kills that were given across to the terrorists, really. They just had to sit in position. Yeah. Just in garage, they got 3 or 4 kills from that same spot.
That's the best feeling ever, actually, as a team, when you don't actually do anything at all. You're still getting away with it. Still driving advantages. And well, last time we saw EnvyUs versus Nico around, just kind of bomb rush the B bomb site blindly. This time around, a bit more of a thought-through approach to it. Mid-control seems to be the name of the game. Scream spotting out Gabi by the big box here. Just gonna take a bit of negative damage. Oh, spots out the boost as well.
Decent damage that BiG have inflicted thus far, and not really anything in return from EnvyUs. I thought Scream would have been totally happy shrugging off that nade had it have been at the cost of one of BiG's life after they got the boost, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. So the CZs really do get in range alongside the weakened Scream and XMS.
Definitely do a lot of damage. Like XMS, again, on a bit of a sole mission onto the B bomb site. It's going to get taken out. Not really sure what the game plan here is from EnvyUs. Happy is there to return the frag, though. Meanwhile, RPK setting his moves onto the B bomb site where the rest of his teammates follow as well. But BiG have rotated players in here. Although to no avail. next Norlegia find one frag, and that's going to be an open B bomb site. Gabi does have Kevlar and an AK, but what can he really do? Has to find 3 players. Doesn't have a defuse kit either. It has to be rapid. Oh, that perfect flash.
Yeah, double flash as well. Almost baiting him out with that first flash. As soon as he hears it detonate, he turns back round into another one. Unfortunate, but that's now 3 match points for EnvyUs, and it will be big into a pretty decent buy, all things considered. I mean, they've got an AWP coming up. They've got some M4s as well joining alongside it.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem that...
No nades, really.
Yeah, exactly. So EnvyUs should be aware of the money situations for Big right now, and again, just set up in a default. Basically, just drag out as much time as possible and see if they can bait out nades. But that does not seem to be the approach for them as this time around. Full-on commitment in towards A-Hall. The pop flash from hell. Next and taps and find 3 immediately. And well, talk about being put on the back foot here. Still have Legia in MBK corner. It's going to get forced out though with the molly. RPK surely would have heard that. Not happy, I mean.
Well, Legia is about to get sideswiped, but there's the headshot, and GoB finishes off what he started with. Scream. Happy now, 1 or 2 bombs dropped out in a horrible spot. Gonna have to thread a couple of headshots here. Not far off on that occasion. GoB's having a duel to the death and actually gets the upper hand. So Big live to fight another day. 2 more rounds required to take us to overtime.
Yeah, and I'm still questioning EnvyUs' decision-making right there. Again, go blindly. You should be aware of the situation that Big find themselves in money-wise. So that heavy of a committal into the A bomb site, especially with having no set, you know, solution for these kind of a plays. We haven't, like, to be fair to them, I guess we haven't seen a lot of aggression from Big coming into A main, but it does feel like it's one of the default things you do. You always have one guy going in towards A main with his back turned to everything in case of that pop flash. That was not the case from EnvyUs, and they get punished extremely hard for it. Once again, we're seeing the boosts from Big.
MP9 tailor-made in these kind of positions against no armor.
Oh.
Actually, Happy was one of the players with armor and still got wrecked.
I saw the head. Saw the head of Legia and got a bit eager.
Still should be going the way of Big now. Scream with the lone AK-47 has been dispersed from this round into the next. XMS and 6-star, 2 CZs. Do have the bomb under their control, but now it's all in the hands of XMS. He's gonna get spotted, his position now compromised. And expect to see the CTs move into position. And now it is gonna go the full distance. I thought this would be a close game, and so far it's delivered.
It definitely has. Again, Tapson working his way up the scoreboard here in the second half after a bit of a slow start to the T side. Equaling Kiev now and frags, sitting at 23, both of them. For EnvyUs, 6er and RPK, just maintaining that good form, both sitting on 28 frags here. It's definitely a top-heavy duel going on for both sides, and this tactical pause comes in from EnvyUs. Want to talk things through before what potentially could send them in to that winner's bracket match.
That would be against Mouse Sports, of course.
Yeah, not an easy matchup whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a solid performance earlier. I believe they won that first game 16-6, if memory serves me correctly. So they did breeze past, and that was North Academy.
Correct, you are. I would actually regard Mouse Sports as a bit of a tournament favorite.
Like a dark horse, maybe?
No, actually,
it's
actually straight up tournament favorite.
Okay.
Coming into this, they've been playing really, really well as of late. So excited to see what they can offer. Again, Legia playing forward here in mid. Nearly catches out one of the EnvyUs players.
Wasn't far off at all, was he? Just a millimeter or two. But sometimes that is the finest of margins that will win or lose you the game.
It really is. Some CZ on XMS, AK equipped on the rest of the teammates of EnvyUs. A lot of utility as well. We're seeing RPK slowly making his way towards that B bomb site. So even though we haven't seen more B executions necessarily from EnvyUs, they have put more pressure on towards this bomb site than what we saw from Big. Big, though, just kind of staying true to what they've been doing the entire game. Heavy mid focus a lot of the time.
RPK's making inroads, though, already in checkers. Now, the issue could be that if Legia decides to go back into the vents and just turns around, RPK is going to be a free frag, and that's exactly what happens. He's able to dart back out again as the smoke is still in position. A huge pick for BiG. And EnvyUs decide to try and bounce back in with a boost. I think Eve looked away at the worst possible moment as the boost was coming up, but then switches back again just in time to see a flashbang detonate in his eyes. XMS going to be looking to pick up the AK from his fallen comrade of RPK and start back up on this mission towards the B side of the map. XMS is going to pick up a frag. Got B, just hiding, hoping for the best in the corner, is able to spray down a player, but he's gone down. It's all up to XMS in a 1 and 2. He only has 9 health.
5 seconds as well.
Pulls it off. It's going to be the map win. It's so close. XMS just misses out. We're going to overtime. 19 health left. It's all BiG needed in the end. Whew. That was so incredibly close, though.
It was, and again, heat of the moment decision making from BiG. You don't necessarily need to commit both players out there. 6 seconds left. If XMS goes off that bomb, there's no way he's winning the round. Easy as that. Like, my God, talk about making it interesting to end out the game, close out or send it into overtime. That would have been absolutely massive. XMS. We've had a pretty quiet game so far. We're able to send them into victory in that kind of fashion.
I mean, I guess in defense of XMS, because the first half, he literally saw 2 rounds where they pushed him on B.
Yeah, no, he had nothing to do.
There's not much he could really do, you know?
Pretty much like his game started in the second half, and that's when you have to get like warm up pretty much.
Like
you haven't done anything.
The nightmare of Mirage when you're a B player and all
God.
they keep hitting is A, and you have to retake every single round.
Well, they will go there and pest around with 5 players, so you have no chance of actually doing anything. That's the one present you get for the entire game. Have fun.
But here we go, Ben. It's all down to this. You can scratch off the regulation. Down to overtime. First team to 19 will take it.
Trading frags on opposite sides of the map so far. tabseN does, though, put BiG ahead by 1 man as he finds Happy. Why not? Legia finding a screen through the smoke as well. 2v4 situation. We've seen Sixer do some crazy plays so far in this matchup. He's going to have to find another one up his sleeve if they're going to come away with a round victory here to start off the OT. And this is much bigger for BiG, obviously, considering the economic situation. Well, I guess no, actually, my mistake, because it is 16K, so it doesn't actually matter at all.
Yeah, 16K, you don't get punished anywhere near as much.
And you can actually do, yeah, you get your op buys in. Obviously, it's worse for a team that goes double op a lot of the time, like EnvyUs do, and instead of like BiG, who prefer to keep it on Kyiv alone. They have given up the B bomb site, though. Again, this is just more of like a safe approach to it from BiG's side. They do have the utility. You see 3 Molotovs here to actually set up for a retake.
And again, in overtime, you don't really care if they get the bomb plant.
Yeah, no,
overall,
it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So Molotovs come flying in.
Oh, head was spotted by Sixer. Of course, he's going to know it's very likely someone's going to be pushing through there. He's missed that shot, though. It's not a time to go off the boil for Sixer. XMS was so close to outright winning, but no 1v4 clutch is in his back pocket right now, and BiG will take the first blood in overtime.
They do. And again, with the economic situation not really mattering all that much whether or not they get a bomb plant, it just kind of gives them extended time to see if they can turn the round back in their favor. I think XMS should have been in a position, because they're down 2 men, they have to be somewhat aggressive to the extent that they're allowed to be, you know, planning on the B bomb site. But I think there should be more of an opportunity for XMS to actually trade on this or actually help out Sixer in the situation on the site, because he can't fight off 2 to 3 people rushing him when he has an op in his hands. Again, like, yeah, very aggressive. This time with an op, though. Not necessarily what you'd expect to see in that kind of a position. Double offing up in mid.
Definitely a curious decision there, but of course, from mid, you can easily wrap yourself around highway. Got to be aggressive, just waiting outside of Garage on the left side. Decent crossfire has been established. They have both angles covered to BiG for the time being, but it's when the nades start to fly in that things could get a bit sketchy, a bit hairy for BiG. Nate is free. Gets finished off by Legia. It's a big moment for the Germans here in this round.
And again, EnvyUs get absolutely nothing from this, and they're going to convene towards the B bomb site instead. RPK once again moving forward. He's getting a little bit of damage from his own molly. They have gained checkers control for the time being. Have to be wary about the potential vent flank here. Gabi posted up on top of higher. And you can tell BiG have, you know, they have the clear idea of what's going on here. 3 players over towards this B bomb site already.
Oh yeah, here come the nades. Got B, lands the headshot into XMS while Flashbang looking for seconds. Does so much damage. It may be good enough. Time is dwindling. Kiev in prime position to strike. He's not going to get smoked out, and the Flash going to do nothing either. And Kiev will clean up with a 3K, and BiG continue in winning ways.
And all that chaos, not putting down the smokes to block off Kiev. No smokes either to actually deal with the second player rotating in from BiG towards higher as well. There's definitely room for improvement in the sense for EnvyUs there, and you see the missed smoke as well that allows him to get the first frag. Oh, well done by BiG. Now two-round lead here. Could close out with a perfect CT half at the start of OT. And EnvyUs not really finding a whole lot of luck really with their mid control. Again, it's all about diving deep into that book of plays and see if we can find something might be able to work. And it seems like they want to focus on this A bomb site initially. Scream has made his way out to mid this time, though. One of the first times we've seen the German side not play too aggressively towards mid. And Scream's going to find tabs on the A bomb site as well. Gabi returns immediately, though. 2v3 situation, and
Kiev needs to land that. That could be such an important moment. It would have been a 3-on-1. Instead, 2-on-2 with the bomb getting planted. That nade's just chunked RPK, though. Got B around the side. His crosshair looked like it was on point, but wasn't able to clean up the kill. And now Legia's getting tagged and will get fragged by RPK. And again, you go back to that missed shot from Kiev.
Yeah, that should be a sitter in so many ways. Probably doesn't expect RPK to just run in by his lonesome on that B bomb, so it's more being taken by surprise, honestly. But yeah, works out for EnvyUs. Not the most impressive sighting, really, in terms of how they approached it in their OT. Maybe they're running out of ideas. Seem like BiG are getting more and more grasp of what's going on a lot of the time. But they still managed to get that one round at least, a bit of a buffer going into the CT side, which is so important.
Again, though, the CT side was where we really saw Sixer shine and where we saw RPK do so much of his damage. So yeah, I do wonder if that form is going to be recaptured now in overtime or not. Sixer, of course, has gone for an AWP alongside Happy. So this is where Sixer was an animal. I think he was 17-5 near the end of the first half. That's how good he was, with RPK and about 15 frags. So if he can show up again, EnvyUs could just outright win from this point.
Yeah, and a completely new approach from BiG here. They're actually going to move towards the B bomb site. Bit of a run boost to get Happy into a new angle. Happy, though, with that forward positioning. This is something they haven't encountered earlier.
That flash, though.
Not optimal.
Bruh. He's still alive, though, somehow. He can use a smoke to escape.
Gets out of dodge as well.
I guess it doesn't matter if it's clean or not. Just as long as you get the hell out of there.
Just get the job done. And again, still posted up in a position where he can do some damage. Does have opportunities to get cover as well. Ooh, a little bit late on the trigger. Kiev's going to punish that. Meanwhile, Tabson finds RPK as on a bit of a mini flank. This might actually send the wrong idea into EnvyUs' head. It seems like Scream's caught in track of this, that there's not going to be any B commitment. And slow-paced rotation from BiG, moving away from this B bomb site. Maybe they're going to use Snacks here to try to sell a bit of a B attack here, delayed. Problem is, it doesn't have any flashes. He does have a smoke, so he can smoke off B entrance. He can Molotov off checkers or headshot. We'll see if he's actually able to create enough of a diversion.
Oh, he's drawn Scream right out of position. This puts Six up against it.
Doesn't commit in, though, so soon enough, Scream should realize that nothing's going to happen here.
Time as well, Ven. It's starting to get down in towards 10 seconds. They've got to move. All Sixer really needs to do is maybe land one kill. That could be good enough. Going to switch to his P250. He's playing this smoke perfectly. Even though Kiev's got the frag, it's just down now to the P250. And it's going to run out of time anyway. EnvyUs have picked the round up and draw us to 17 apiece.
I mean, obviously they benefit from time running out, but Sixer's playing that so well. You can see like the decision he makes here to swap over to the pistol, because he realizes, the same as you mentioned, he just needs to find the bomb planner in this kind of situation to win the round for them. And why not pick up both frags if you have the opportunity? Sixer continuing his good CT side form here. It's a big round for EnvyUs to get.
Scream's gonna go in the same position he was in last time, so I'm not sure. I was gonna say it might be a little bit,
Optimistic.
yeah, telegraphed as well.
Yeah.
A bit obvious, but I guess the thing is they can play around that as well if they double stack it, but it's gonna be an all-out rush through Squeaky. Six has missed a shot alongside Happy. That's not good enough from EnvyUs. Scream on the fast look though is gonna pick up one. Or the fast flank, I should say now. It's gone from look to flank. It has evolved. Looking for a second frag. Surprises me that would even be possible considering they knew where he was. And now Legia and Tapson are all that remain. It started so well for BiG, but it's ended horribly. Only Sixer goes down. EnvyUs now have a chance to outright win this map.
They do, in a very surprising fashion as well. Again, you see the downsides of having double ops in the positions that EnvyUs posted up in, and all it takes is one missed shot before you lose complete control over the bomb site. Luckily, though, Scream somehow finding 2 frags. The first one is perfectly reasonable, but as you said, once this position is known, there's no way you should be able to get that second frag so easily. Obviously, there's some flashes in play and whatnot, but kind of sloppy from BiG side, and XMS finding 3 frags through a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, when you saw both Orpas miss on A, I thought, okay, that's it. That's the round done. It's going to crumble.
Normally how it should pan out.
Yep, but only one player died in that whole process. That is going to be BiG, really ruining out on that potential match-losing moment. But, you know, I've already seen them claw back these before. That nade lands in the face of Tabson's going to chunk him a little bit.
That's very now. Slow approach, obviously. A lot at stake for BiG. Not in an aggressive position this time around. RPT playing those sandbags. Has been there quite a few times so far this round. Does spot out one player from... Oh, actually going to get caught out. Does find next, though, before Tabson is able to take him out. So that's a big get. He was in no man's land. Yeah.
That's really the best thing he could have done, is go 1-for-1 in that position. It was looking like he just get picked off for free. So it's actually pretty crucial.
We're seeing the rest of the BiG team now move towards this B bomb side. Well, initially, now they're rotating off with the bomb after throwing out a couple of Molotovs, trying to sell this. But again, not creating a whole lot of rotations, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like if you're going to close that rotation, you have to push somebody out proactively as the fake goes in.
Yeah, you really have to commit to selling the fake, really, in many ways. Otherwise, it's not going to be anything that EnvyUs bite on.
But to be fair, EnvyUs have now over-rotated pretty hard.
But then you see immediately, like, as soon as there's no follow-up on this, the one shot, the immediate rotation comes in. Sixer only needs to find 1 frag, and he does.
Could be finding more. There's a second. EnvyUs on the brink of winning the map. Scream from the side will sideswipe Legia and God B 1-on-4. Bomb is down. Time is ticking away. This would be one hell of a clutch if he could pull this off. He's being shot from the backside, and EnvyUs have done it in overtime. It was labored, it was difficult, but they got there in the end. 19-17.
They got there in the end, and off of a massive performance from Sixer. 33 frags, ending up topping everyone on the scoreboard, really, to close that out, having massive impact here with a lot of his frags, put that off on that A-bomb site. Just very refreshing to see, because normally he's one of the guys who's really in the line of fire when you talk about EnvyUs. So even though it wasn't the easiest victory, it wasn't as convincing as I initially expected it to be, they do scrape away with the victory. So